وسلموا تسليما.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين. سبحان الله الذي يقول في القرآن الكريم وصدق بقوله ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وأفضل الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد خاتم الأنبياء والسيد المرسلين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين الأئمة المعصومين الهاديين المهديين. أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, it is generally accepted that this concept that we have of God is that He is the most powerful, the all-powerful, that He is limitless, that He is infinite, that there is nothing like Him, etc. Yet when it comes to a specific group among a wider group that calls themselves Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, known as the Atharis or the Salafis, there's always a debate when it comes to the qualities and the attributes of Ar-Rahman Azza wa Jal. These are the same people who are very quick in throwing fingers. They are very quick in accusing us of many things, such as kufr, such as accusing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam of many things. Insha'Allah, in the following video and videos, I hope to raise a curtain on this group and expose their lies on Allah, His Messenger, and the family of His Messenger, upon them and the Prophet, the best of peace and prayers. But today, for now, I will do something simple, which is just presenting their beliefs, an introduction about them, and I'll do a little bit of a comparison between their Tawheed and our Tawheed. So let us get into this, inshallah. So when I began the video, I brought a verse from Surah Ash-Shura, ayah 11, which reads as following: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فاطر السماوات والأرض جعل لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا ومن الأنعام أزواجا يذرأكم فيه ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. He has made for you spouses from among yourselves and made mates for cattle, as well multiplying you both. There is nothing like Him, for He alone is the all-hearing, all-seeing. This section, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ, there is nothing like Him. This section I'm going to touch on in this video and the following videos, inshallah. So, to further this point, it's time we bring the infamous ayah, everyone's favorite ayah when it comes to these subjects. Ar-Rahman ala al-Arsh istawa. I will not translate this verse, it's a very famous verse, but if you wish to, fully understand this verse and grasp the concept behind this verse, you need to know Arabic. Therefore, I'm not going to be translating this verse. But for the non-Arabic speakers, basically what people try to claim with this verse is that Ar-Rahman, which is a name of Allah, so Allah Azza wa Jal, He is on top of His throne. And the Atharis, they say that He is literally sitting on top of His throne. They claim that this verse and other verse such as this, that says, like, for example, He has two hands, whatever, right? It has no ambiguity. It's not ambiguous. So it's clear, it's wadih in its meaning. But actually, it's not. And it's kind of illogical to think that this could be, literally. So before we go into analyzing this verse and analyzing what they say about this verse, let us see what our pure Imams have to say about this verse. In Kitab al-Tawheed, by Ra'is al-Muhaddithin, our great Sheikh as-Saduq, in page 321 or in 313 in some versions, he has a chapter on the attributes of the throne. And in this chapter, he has one singular narration. And what a beautiful, beautiful narration it is. For, the sake of time, I will only be reading the English. From Hanan ibn Sudair, who said, I asked Abu Abdullah alayhi salatu wassalam about al-Arsh and about al-Kursi. So he alayhi salatu wassalam said, the throne is of many different qualities, and for each of its status, a quality of it can be placed separately in the Qur'an. So his Azza wa Jal words, he is the Lord of the magnificent throne, Qur'an 27:26. He Azza wa Jal is speaking of the magnificent kingdom. And his Azza wa Jal words, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa. He Azza wa Jal is saying that he Azza wa Jal encompasses the kingdom. And this kingdom is the qualitative state of things. Then the throne is a single interface for the chair, because these two are the biggest two doors from the doors of the unseen, and they are both together hidden. And these two in the unseen are interlinked, because Al-Kursi is the door of the apparent from the hidden, from which emerge the beginning, and from it are all the things. And the throne is the esoteric door, in which is found the knowledge of the qualities and the universe and the predestination and the limits and the livelihood and a description of the intention and knowledge of the worlds and the movement and the avoidance and knowledge of the return and the origination. The knowledge in these two doors is interlinked, because the kingdom of the throne is other than the kingdom of the chair, and its knowledge is more hidden than the knowledge of Al-Kursi. And these two in that are interlinked. And then the narrator said, may I be sacrificed for you. So why do the merits come to be for the Kursi? He alayhi salatu wassalam said, it flows to be in it, because it is the knowledge of the qualities, and in it the apparent from the doors of the origination, united in its mending and its rupture. So these are two neighbors. One of these two carries its counterpart in exchange, like the exchange of the scholars who provide evidence upon the truthfulness of their claims, because he Azza wa Jal specializes with his mercy whomsoever he Azza wa Jal so desires to, and he Azza wa Jal is the strong, the mighty. So from the different qualities of the throne, the blessed and the exalted says, glorious is the Lord of the skies and the earth, Lord of the throne, from what they are ascribing. Qur'an 43:82. And it is a description of the throne of the oneness people tend to associate, just as I alayhi salatu wasalam said to you. The blessed and the exalted says he is the Lord of the throne. Qur'an 27:26. Is the Lord of the oneness, and from what they are describing him to be. And a group described him Azza wa Jal to be with two hands. So they said the hand of Allah is tied up. Qur'an 5:64. And a group of described him to have 2 feet. So they said he Azza wa Jal would place one of his legs upon the rock of Al-Bayt al-Maqdis, and from it he Azza wa Jal ascended to the sky, and a group described him to be with fingers. So they said, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam said, I sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam felt the coolness of his fingers upon my heart. So it is for the likes of these types of description that he Azza wa Jal said, glorious is the Lord of the skies and the earth, Lord of the throne, from what they are ascribing. Qur'an 43:82. He Azza wa Jal is saying, and for Allah is the exalted example. Qur'an 16:60. Then the examples which He Azza wa Jal could be exemplified with. And Allah Azza wa Jal is more exalted than the examples, as none of things can resemble Him, and no description can be for Him, nor can He Azza wa Jal become to. So that is the exalted example. Qur'an 16:60. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Subhanallah, what a narration. What a narration. In this narration, the Imam described the people that we are going to be speaking about. Of course, it's a very long narration, and it's a very complex narration. I am not qualified to explain this narration for you, but I have narrated this narration onto you so that you may know what is the stance of our Imams on this ayah. So now that we have our stance on this verse, tell me, my dear brothers and sisters, how can it be logical that this verse is taken literally? Is saying that Allah is literally sitting on His throne, not limiting Him to a time and place, to the confines of space? My brothers and sisters, I have asked these questions to the Atharis so many times. Countless discussions I've held with them, and their response to this specific question, wallahi, it's baffling. Maybe I asked the wrong people. Maybe next time I will go and ask their more knowledgeable people. But the response that I received, my brothers and sisters, like, can you even call it a response? And my dear brothers and sisters, these are the same people. They go out on the street to give da'wah, and they ask the Christians, is God not limitless? Is He not all-powerful? Of course, any logical person would say, yes, God is limitless. Then these people would say, then how could God become Jesus in the flesh? Isn't this flesh limiting Him to the confines of space and time? These same people there are saying that literally Allah Azza wa Jal is sitting on His throne. Subhanallah. I ask you, Atharis, the same question. Is this not limiting Him to space and time? Is this how? Just explain to me, how can this logically be, a possibility? Allah Azza wa Jal is limitless. We all agree that God is infinite. So how can He be limited to the confines of space and time by physically sitting down on the throne? Even the Imam, he discussed this, and I'll bring more narration where the Imam responds to this rubbish. And you want to know what they have told me, my dear brothers and sisters. I asked a brother, actually I won't call him my brother, I disassociate from these types of people. I asked someone, this question that I've been asking, and you know what they said to me? He said, it's not limiting Him. Why? Because in some narrations we read that, on certain days, like let's say a Friday, Allah, He comes down from His throne and He comes into the earth to go listen to the requests of the believers. Subhanallah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. What type of Tawheed is this? What type of response is this? He's physically sitting on His throne, and it is not limiting Him because He comes down to the earth. Meaning that we are not limiting Him only to His throne. but you never responded to why you are limiting him to space, time. Allah is above these things. Read any book on Tawheed, on Aqidah. Allah is above these things. Read the Qur'an. Allah is above these things, not physically. Allah is, as the narration that I just read, Allah is something that cannot be comprehended. He is above the logic. But this does not mean that He contradicts the logic. God will be logical, but He will be above the logic. It is not like Christianity, where, the logic contradicts. And this is what's happening here. The logic is contradicting. What they ascribe to Allah is insane. Wallahi, it is crazy. The things that they say about Allah is insane. And the Imam, in the narration, he says that a group of people says that Allah has, hands, feet, fingers. Yes, it's true. In Sahih Bukhari, volume 8, book 78, hadith 64, narrated Anas bin Malik. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said what? He said, لا تزل جهنم تقول هل من مزيد حتى يدع رب العزة فيها قدمه. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam said, the hellfire will keep saying, are there any more people to come into me? Until Allah Rabbul Izzah puts His foot on top of it, and it will say, sufficient, sufficient by your power and honor, and its various sides will close. Ya Allah, subhanallah. Allah is physically putting His foot on the fire. According to these people, they say it's His physical, actual foot. They ascribe many things. Like, I could bring many examples, like that finger narration mentioned by the Imam. When I was doing research for this video, I found that narration. It's a crazy narration. Wallahi, it's a crazy narration. But the thing is, with these narrations, at the same time, I don't mean to defend these narrations, but it's like, how can you take these narrations literally? For example, the finger narration, like, yeah, maybe it could be metaphorical, but it's baffling. It's baffling what they say. It's truly baffling. And what I am about to show you next is, subhanallah, how can a man even think of this? How can someone even ascribe this to Rabbil Alameen Azza wa Jal? And after I show you this narration, I will show you a narration in our books that responds to this narration. And oof, what a beautiful narration that is. So, first let's get into what their narration states. Many of their scholars, they mention this. I'll put it in the screen after I finish narrating this. But most importantly, Ibn Taymiyyah, in his book Bayan Tablis al-Jahmiyyah, in volume 7, he says what? He says, Fil hadithun sahih. He says, in the sahih hadith. In the sahih hadith. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم رأيت ربي في سورة شاب لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. The full English I'll narrate. On the authority of Ibn Abbas, he said that the Prophet has said that he saw his Rabb, his Lord, in the picture or the form of a young man who still had no hair on his face, and the hair on his head was curly. And not only Ibn Taymiyyah declared this Sahih, Imam Ahmad, Abu Zur'ah, At-Tabarani, Abu al-Hasan ibn Bashar, Ibn Sadaqah, so many of their scholars declared this Sahih. Subhanallah. This hadith. But, it is, quite a very outrageous hadith. So many of these atharis, they'll, cope about this. One of the copes that I've heard personally is that, it was a dream. The Prophet saw this in a dream, so it's not really literal. So what they're doing here now is they're hand-picking, cherry-picking. They're picking and choosing their religion. They twist the narrations to fit their own narrative. They call us what? They call us Ahlul Bid'ah. They call us Ahlul Hawa. That we are people who go into our desires. Yet, when something contradicts them, they... What? Look at this. Astaghfirullah. No matter how you look at it, in future videos, like this video is getting too long, so I won't be putting it in this video, but in future videos I'll show you what they say about Allah Azza wa Jalla is just like what the Christians say about Jesus. I swear, subhanallah, their version of Allah is literally the Walmart version of Jesus. What the Christians claim to be Jesus. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Astaghfirullah, man, but subhanallah, So, you've heard their story, their narration. And now, allow me to show you the beautiful words of our Imams. Now, obviously, it's a very, 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 very long narration, very complex narration. When it comes to these types of things, such as Aqidah and Tawheed, these are very complex ideas. So if you do wish, to study more on Aqidah and whatnot, I do recommend you go back to a reliable scholar. And that scholar is, not me. I'm just a student. I'm a layman at best. Barely a student. So this narration is found in Kitab al-Kafi by Thiqatul Islam والحجة المسلمين محمد بن يعقوب الكليني رحمه الله. He says, and I'll skip the sanad for sake, Muhammad al-Khazzaz and Muhammad ibn al-Husayn, they said, we entered upon Abu al-Hasan al-Rida alayhi salatu wassalam, and told him that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam saw his Rabb in a form of a young man at the age of 30 years. We also said that Hisham ibn Salim, Sahib al-Taq, and al-Mithami say that he is hollow until the navel, and the rest is solid. Then he, alayhi salam, prostrated to Allah and said, glory be to you. They do not know you, nor did they unify you. And for this reason they described you. Glory be to you. If they had known you, they would have described you as you have described yourself. Glory be to you. How did their souls permit them to liken you to something else? O Allah, I do not describe you except with what you have described yourself, nor do I liken you to your creation. You are worthy of all goodness, so do not make me among the unjust people. Then he turned to us and said, whatever you imagine Allah to be different from it. Then he said, we, the family of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, are the middle path that neither the extreme can reach nor the one who lags behind can overtake. O Muhammad, when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam looked at the greatness of his Lord, it was in the form of a successful young man. O Muhammad, my Lord is too great and majestic to be in the likeness of the created beings. And then he said, I asked, may I be your ransom? Who were those whose feet were in green? And then he alayhi salam said, that was Muhammad. Whenever he looked at his Lord with his heart, he placed him in a light like the light of the veils until what was in the veils became clear to him. Indeed, the light of Allah is from it green, and from it red, and from it white, and from it other than that. O Muhammad, whatever the book and the Sunnah have testified to, we say it. And this is found in volume 1, page 60. Subhanallah. What a beautiful narration. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wal'ana a'da'ahum. I don't wish to make this video, too long. This is already 30 minutes almost. Subhanallah, it's getting longer. I intended this video to be 20 minutes. But happens. Inshallah, in the next following videos, I will show you in depth what these people ascribe to Allah and His Messenger. If you think what they describe Allah Azza wa Jal as is bad, then you have not seen what they have said about our holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And I swear to you, once you see what they say about him, you will never look at your Sunni friend the same. You will never look at them, as if they were, same as us. Say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, khalas. No. Once you look into it, once the curtain is raised and the truth is, revealed, you will see the difference between those who went with the killers of Fatima Zahra and those who sided with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. So then for now, khalas. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaykum ajma'in.